Hey guys, I'm looking rough, not gonna lie, but I don't know. I just wanted to reach out and want to say hi to you guys. I wanted to see how you guys are doing, how you guys are adjusting with school and with like the after effects that's happened the last couple months. Election was recently, so we'll see how that goes. But the main reason why I wanted to chat was I wanted to say this because sometimes you probably need to hear it from someone else, because I know I did, that it's okay to not be okay. It sounds cliche, but sometimes we forget that we don't always have to be okay. Life isn't perfect. There's always things that always drags you down. And just like you sit down and think, oh, you have this such and such thing set for your life, and then you realize, crap, that's not how it's supposed to be. Or you get discouraged. And I noticed that if I keep trying to be okay, it never works. I tried. But anyways, the theme that I wanted to talk about was limbo, being in limbo with your faith, more specifically. I've noticed that, especially during like the quarantine or during the isolation, I like to call it, because I felt like physically we were isolated, but then also spiritually, I know for a fact we were isolated in a sense where we were either revealed good things, bad things, maybe both about ourselves. And I remember beginning of the year, and I was asking, and I was praying to God. I was like, you know what? I want to grow. I want to be more. I want to be more like you. I want to be a better version of myself. And I told myself that, and that was my New Year's resolution, because I kind of stopped doing little things and kind of just stuck to a word. Like my freshman year, and even in the end of my senior year, actually end of senior year into freshman year, my word was purpose. And it was just because I was going off to college. I was trying to figure out where I was, who I wanted to be. And at that point, I was new to the faith too. I went through a whole bunch of like traumatic issues my beginning of my senior year. And then I started going back into church in December. And then around January, February, I had this kind of, I say epiphany, because I've always grown up in a Christian home, Christian church, everything kind of just, God has always been in my life. But I never kind of owned it till maybe when I got baptized in June of 2018, because January of 2018, I was there at a point where I knew something was off and I couldn't deal with it. And that was probably my first time, like, where I realized, hey, this is my faith and I want to grow it. So my freshman year, I was doing great. I had maybe a few rough patches, but my time with God was great. My devotion was great. And then sophomore year happened, which was last year, and it was a little hilly. I tried my best to keep up, but I didn't try hard enough. And then the end of my sophomore year, which was a couple months ago, Corona happened. And by the time Corona happened, I realized that the time before, not my presence, but my time with God has been kind of non-existent. I went to church every Sunday, but I ran away from service, ran away from all these things, and Corona happened, and I kind of felt the calling to go back into service. And I did it, and that was great. That was great about Corona. But there's also another part of Corona that was not too glamorous, not too pretty. I realized that after being in such a small, it's not a small place, but after being in one place for so long, you start to realize things about yourself, and sometimes you don't think it's true, but when it is, then you start to realize, hey, this is true. But specifically what I wanted to say was, at that time, I noticed that the issues I had right before I got baptized were coming back. I'm someone who likes to push away my issues and pray they don't come back. That's what I do. I don't try to conquer them or fix them and then keep going. So I thought I was okay with with everything, and then Corona had it all come back, and I was dealing with it, because you think it's over, and then you start defining yourself by what you used to be, that you forget that it's not who you are now. So I dealt with that, and when I dealt with that, I felt so much better. I was on fire for God. My devotion and my prayer time was way better. July was great because it all happened in June, and then July it just started climbing, and I was just like, yes, yes, yes. And then I hit a point in maybe into August. Yeah, it would have to be August, maybe September, right before my birthday, actually in August, end of August, where I realized that I was not in a good headspace. And I sometimes get so caught up in what I'm doing that when one thing comes, it just kind of hits me like a ton of bricks. And I realized that my issue that because I've been in almost like a drought for 2 months. It was hard for me to focus on my schoolwork. It was hard for me to keep up with my time with God. It was hard for me to socialize with my friends. It was getting very difficult because I just cocooned, and I stayed in my own little space, forgetting that it's just a point in time. I have to keep moving. And even now I'm kind of still in that headspace. That's just because it's a process. It's going to take a while. And during the time that I actually kind of shut down was the time where I was watching the series, and it was from a church called Transformation Church, but the series was called Forgiveness. And I realized that I wasn't forgiving myself. And a lot of the time we can be in we cocoon ourselves, or we isolate ourselves, or we have issues because we don't forgive ourselves from doing whatever it may be. It may be as little as something or as big as a mountain. Who knows? It depends on who you are. And I realized that the fact that I wasn't forgiving myself for the things that I've done in the past, it kind of held on me. And I felt like that was just the way of the devil, just telling me that, trying to make me feel bad, or not feel bad, but to keep me away from growing. Because there was a time where I was like absorbing so much, and then I just let go. And the greatest thing about it that I was reading up is that you let go, but God's always have a hold on you, even if it's by the tip of your finger. All it takes for you to do is to fight back, and to keep pushing to get closer and closer to Him. Because sometimes we sit down and we realize that a lot of the time where we're still sulking in our issues is because we're not actually fighting. We're just sitting there. We're sitting at that level that's real down low. And that's my issue. I'm normally a very tough person. I kind of just take things and I keep going. And then when we get to a point where it's hard, I stay down there. And I stay down there for like a real long time. But I wanted to share something with you. Yes, it was in Romans, and it was talking about Christian is. And I don't know why this kind of spoke to me, but during this time, like when I was in July, I started doing, or was it August? I think it was July or August, whatever it was. I started doing a Bible in a Year challenge. And during the time when I was cocooned, I stopped. I stopped for a solid 2 months, and I felt so bad that I couldn't go back. I couldn't catch up. And because of that, I kept not doing it because I was too embarrassed to fix it. And then I realized, you know what? I'm done with it. I'm gonna resume back where I started, and I'm gonna keep going. And once I did that, I'm like, okay, I'm almost there right now, and I'm working with it. But the verses in Romans was from chapter 2, and it says, "For you are not a true Jew just because you were born of Jewish parents or because you have gone through the ceremonies of circumcision. No, a true Jew is one whose heart is right with God. A true circumcision is not merely obeying the letter of the law, rather it is a change of heart produced by the Spirit. And a person with a changed heart seek praises from God, not from people." And this has spoke to me a lot just because I've noticed that I was trying to let everyone else's praise towards me drive me instead of me drive me. Like, I feel like that's a little too confusing to say, but when I looked at it, I was just like, I need to start pushing myself from me, not letting other people push me, because then when those people are gone or when they do me wrong, then I'm going to be down there. And I'm kind of tired of it. And I just wanted to let you guys know that sometimes it's okay to not be okay, and we all have dry patches. So that's kind of where I wanted to end it, because I realized that sometimes some people need to hear that you're not the only one, and it gets better. So I hope you guys all have a good day, and bye.